What is sales coaching and who is it for? Could you talk a little bit about the structure of a sales coaching experience and what's sort of the before and after of working with Skillway? When you all get introduced to somebody and then you work with them, what's the transformation or what sort of journey are you taking them on?
Yeah. So if you think about sales coaching, the way you would think of a great coach that you've ever had in sports, right? A sales coach should be a good educator and a good motivator, right? They should be able to teach you skills, but also, get you off the ledge after a big loss and pump you up and believe in you, sometimes be a cheerleader and believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So it's kind of mentor, cheerleader, teacher, all those things wrapped up into one. As far as, who it's for, I would say, we feel like coaching typically, just from an ROI standpoint, is usually not the best fit for somebody who's just getting into sales for the very first time, right? If you're green, you're going and do some knocking on doors or retail or something like that, you're usually better off reading some books, watching some videos, maybe taking a classroom style class that's a little more generic and it's going to get you there. What we've found who it really works well for are people who are already established. We have a lot more success taking someone from, a salesperson who's making 150,000 and taking them to 250,000, or even taking someone who's at 300,000 to 500,000. So typically who we think it's the best fit for is someone who's just really trying to take things to the next level. So we get a lot of clients who are like, I'm number 5 in the country and I really want to be number 1.
So Skillway is not a great fit for the young person who's 18 and wants to sell cell phone plans at T-Mobile. They're really ready for something, maybe some mentoring or, listening to some Gary Vaynerchuk podcasts or something. But you all are working with organizations that have a structure and a process and need to invest in leveling up.
Right. Yeah. I would say our business right now is about 70% of it is we're dealing with organizations. And about 30% of it, because there are salespeople out there who make a lot of money and it's commission based. So that 30% are, very high end salespeople who are just coming in and paying right out of their pocket because they know an extra sale a month, will more than pay for it. Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, typically we're going into organizations, we're working with the management there. And then it's like, how do we level up this team? And it could be certain people on the team need one-on-one coaching. It could be we're kind of coming at it like classroom training, right? But we call that team coaching because it's a coach that's working with you. It's not, I think we've all been in a classroom where the person is a great presenter, but they're teaching because they couldn't do it in the field, right? And so you may get the content, but when you have a coach up there, it should be much more interactive. You can ask questions about things you're dealing with right now or problems you've had or specific scenarios. And that coach should be able to engage and help you, through that, even in a group setting.
So that's really great. So what you all are doing, it's not just you're not offering a content program. We can get content anywhere. You're offering coaching, mentoring, walking with, being up to speed with where someone is and where their strengths and their weaknesses are, and adjusting what they're doing, adjusting their behaviors to get different results.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, we've got amazing content. It's all proprietary. We have that stuff, but it's knowing which content to go where. It's if you think about a good golf swing coach, like if I stand over here and watch you swing, I can see the hitch that you can't see yourself. And then, we can basically break down and analyze your game and then go in and say, like, here's some strengths you can lean on. Here's an opportunity to get a little better here and work through that. And, one of our mantras around here is like, we're changing lives forever. But that's just kind of a reminder that, there's no real learning unless there's behavior change, right? Unless you actually take it and implement it. So especially with one-on-one coaching, it's like you talk about something, you go through some coaching, and then you go do it. And then we sort of see immediate feedback from that we can adjust, we can go back with. And that's our favorite thing. One of my favorite things is when, someone who coached with us 3 years ago, they reach out to their coach and they say like, hey, I'm finally number 1. I'm or I made President's Club, I won the trip or whatever. And like, we haven't coached with them for years, but like the first person they wanted to tell was their coach because, you know, they had these big lasting sort of growth. And that's what we really want to see. We're looking for those opportunities, you know, to make fundamental changes, you know, with someone.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, as founders, I think, we often, we're often on the hook for doing a lot of sales. You have a sales program. We're a digital marketing agency. We've got a sales program, but it can still be very lonely. So I think having that network of people, and even if you have a team, it can just be a very isolated existence. And, you end up in kind of this tunnel vision. The sales pipeline feels like a tunnel you're, stuck in sometimes. So I think having perspective that's coming in from outside can really change the happiness, the joy, the satisfaction, everything about doing this kind of work.
It really
Yeah.
can. And, you know, part of our role sometimes is even if the business owner or the manager is paying for the coaching, like what we talk about is confidential, you know, like we really have to build some trust. Like what happens in coaching stays in coaching. And that way you can come in and you can go like, man, I'm having some serious, you know, call reluctance, or my attitude, I'm in a bad place. Well, even if you've got an amazing manager who really does sort of mentor and coach, you might not feel comfortable saying that to your boss. You know, you may think that's going to put your job in danger, but having an outside person that you can talk through these things with a little bit, we can pump you up and get you going.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I could see someone who, even if they're not, working with Skillway, but just in general, that's such a great little nugget, such a mindset is you need to have people around you who you can connect with and be honest with and say, hey, here's where I'm feeling good. Here's where I'm not feeling so good, and be able to say those things. So being able to be in a place where you can talk about your strengths, your weaknesses with someone who understands what you're talking about. And, not always a spouse or a family member, but people who are in the industry, that can really change someone's mindset and their ability to do well. That's good.
Yeah. And we're very aware of, you know, all of our coaches are people who've been in the field, they've had success, they've half of them coach and sell right now. So they're still selling. But, you know, someone who really understands the challenges of working maybe a very long sales cycle, or maybe working a very high pressure, you know, like they know where you're at and they've kind of got that camaraderie, and they can just think of them as like, this is my personal business partner. This is my personal sales consultant over here, you know, that I can lean
Yeah.
on.
That's cool.